Archangel Michael says, something beautiful is coming after this pain. Beloved, I want to say something to you today that is going to reach into the place that has been hurting the longest. Not the surface of your life. Not the version of you that presents well in public. The private interior of the person you actually are right now. In this season. With this weight. Carrying what you have been carrying in the quiet hours when no one else is watching. Archangel Michael says, beloved, I was sent today specifically for the person who is in pain. Not managed discomfort. Real pain. The kind that has been present long enough to start feeling like a permanent feature of your life rather than a temporary chapter in your story. And the word I have been sent to deliver is this. Something beautiful is coming after this pain. Not instead of it. Not bypassing it. After it. On the other side of what you are walking through right now. There is something so beautiful that when it arrives it is going to make what preceded it make sense in a way that nothing in the middle of the pain could have made it make sense. I know that word sounds like every other encouraging word that has arrived in a difficult season and temporarily lifted something before the weight settled back in. I know that the experience of being told beautiful things are coming while you are in the middle of something painful has sometimes felt more like spiritual comfort food than genuine nourishment. And I want to speak to that directly. What is being announced today is not a vague spiritual optimism designed to make you feel better in the moment. It is a specific declaration from the throne room of God about what He is doing with what you are walking through. And the declaration is not that the pain does not matter. It is that the pain is producing something. Something real. Something specific. Something that only this specific pain walked through by this specific person could produce. And what is being produced is beautiful. Tap the like button right now if you have been in a season of pain that has felt longer than any season should last. Because this message was sent for you specifically. And drop a comment below and type beautiful is coming if you receive this declaration from heaven that what is on the other side of what you are walking through is worth what the walking through is costing. Just those 3 words. Beautiful is coming. Because declaring what is coming is one of the most powerful things you can do in the middle of what is present. What the pain has been doing. Beloved, before we talk about what is coming, Archangel Michael says he wants to honor something that is often not honored in messages about breakthrough and blessing. He wants to honor the pain itself. Not because pain is good in itself. Because what the pain has been doing in you is significant. And naming what it has been doing is part of understanding why what comes after it is described with the word beautiful. The first thing the pain has been doing is going all the way down to the root. Beloved, surface level comfort cannot produce deep level healing. And the pain you have been in has not been a surface level experience. It has gone into the deep places. The places that ordinary seasons do not reach. The places where the wounds that produced the patterns live. The places where the beliefs about yourself and about God and about what is possible for your life were formed in environments that did not always form them accurately. And pain that goes all the way down does something that comfortable seasons cannot do. It reaches what needs to be reached for the healing to be complete rather than cosmetic. The pain has been going to the root. And what is healed at the root does not grow back. The second thing the pain has been doing is stripping away what was never truly yours. Beloved, in the seasons of comfort and abundance it is easy to accumulate things that feel like part of who you are but that are actually attachments. The identity that was constructed from other people's approval. The security that was built on foundations that were never as solid as they felt. The relationships that were maintained for what they provided rather than for what they genuinely were. The self-perception that was dependent on circumstances going a certain way. Pain strips all of it. Not cruelly. Surgically. Removing what was never designed to be permanent so that what was always supposed to be the foundation can be seen clearly. And what the stripping reveals is always more solid than what it removed. The third thing the pain has been doing is building a compassion that only pain can build. Beloved, there is a quality of compassion available only to the person who has genuinely suffered. Not the compassion of someone who understands suffering theoretically. The compassion of someone who has been inside it. Who knows what the 3 a.m. wait feels like? Who knows what it is to pray with everything and still feel the silence? Who knows what it costs to keep going when going has stopped producing visible reward? That compassion is one of the most valuable things a human being can carry. And it can only be developed from the inside of the experience. The pain you have been in has been building the compassion that the people in your life and in your sphere are going to need from you in the chapters that are coming. You are being built to carry what you are currently in. The fourth thing the pain has been doing is developing a faith that cannot be manufactured. Beloved, there are two kinds of faith. The faith that has not been tested and the faith that has. The first kind is real, but it does not know yet what it can hold. The second kind knows. Because it has been held to the fire and chosen to stay and discovered what survives the burning. The faith that survives a genuine season of pain is the faith that Paul described as not being ashamed of the gospel because it is the power of God for salvation. It is the faith that can look at the worst that circumstances offer and say, but God. The faith that cannot be manufactured by any process other than the one you have been in. And the faith you are developing right now is going to be one of the most significant things you carry into every chapter that follows this one. The fifth thing the pain has been doing is creating a hunger for what is real. Beloved, one of the most consistent effects of genuine suffering is the clarification of what actually matters. The things that seemed important before the pain that now seem entirely secondary. The pursuits that consume time and energy that are now clearly not worth the investment. The relationships that were maintained for appearance that have been revealed as insufficient. And the things that have proven themselves genuinely valuable. The faith that held. The relationships that stayed. The character that remained. The love that did not leave. The presence of God that was real even in the silence. Pain creates a hunger for what is real that comfort could never have produced. And the hunger for what is real is the hunger that leads to the beautiful thing that is coming. Because what is beautiful is always real. And the person who has been refined by pain to hunger for what is real is the person most positioned to receive and to recognize what is beautiful when it arrives. The sixth thing the pain has been doing is positioning you for the next level of your purpose. Beloved, the calling on your life has a next level. A deeper expression. A wider territory. A greater impact. And the next level of a significant purpose requires a person who has been through something. Because the people who need what the next level of your purpose carries are people who have been through something. And they will only receive what you carry from the next level if you carry the scars of having been in the same kind of pain they are in. The pain you are in is not a detour from your purpose. It is the specific formation that the next level of your purpose requires. And the beauty that is coming is partly the beauty of seeing what the pain was always preparing you for. And the seventh thing the pain has been doing is making room for a deeper encounter with God. Beloved, the presence of God that is available in genuine pain is a dimension of His presence that is not accessible in any other way. The intimacy of meeting God at the absolute limit of your own resources. The specific comfort of finding that He is present in the place you most feared He had abandoned. The depth of trust that develops when you discover that He was faithful in the season that gave you the most reason to doubt His faithfulness. The pain made room for an encounter with God that the comfortable season could not have produced. And the God you encounter in the depths of the pain is the God you carry into everything that follows. Deeper known. More genuinely trusted. More personally experienced. The encounter is itself one of the beautiful things that is coming. And some of it is already here. In this message. In this moment. Beloved, right here I want you to drop a comment and tell me in one word what the pain you have been in has been. Not all the details. Just the word that names it. Grief. Loneliness. Betrayal. Financial. Illness. Loss. Confusion. Whatever it has been named in your life. Comment it below. Because naming the pain is the first step in seeing what it has been producing. What beautiful looks like on the other side. Beloved, Archangel Michael says he wants to describe what beautiful looks like on the other side of what you are walking through. Because beautiful is not a vague spiritual word. It is specific. And knowing what specifically is coming helps you recognize it when it arrives and receive it fully rather than letting it pass by unrecognized. The first specific beautiful thing that is coming is a peace that you will know you did not manufacture. Beloved, the peace that comes on the other side of genuine pain is qualitatively different from the peace that comes from comfortable circumstances. It is the peace that Paul described as surpassing all understanding. The peace that does not make logical sense given what was walked through to arrive at it. The peace that a person who has not been through what you have been through cannot fully explain and cannot fully relate to. But you will know it. You will know it because you will recognize that it did not come from your circumstances improving. It came from somewhere deeper. From the God who met you in the pain and who brought you through it and who settled something in you on the other side of it that the beginning of your story did not have. That peace is beautiful. And it is coming. The second beautiful thing is a joy that is rooted in something unshakable. Beloved, the joy that comes on the other side of the pain is not the happiness that returns when the circumstances improve. It is a joy that is rooted in the specific knowledge of what God is and what He does and what He can be trusted with. The joy that Job experienced when God restored him was not the happiness of someone who got their stuff back. It was the joy of a man who had encountered God in the whirlwind and who knew something about Him that he had only believed before the pain. And the joy that is rooted in that knowing is unshakable. Because it does not depend on circumstances that can change. It depends on a God who cannot. That joy is coming. And it is going to be one of the most beautiful things that the people around you encounter in you in the season after the pain. The third beautiful thing is a story that changes lives. Beloved, the pain you are in right now is writing a testimony. Not a testimony of perfect faith perfectly maintained. A testimony of genuine faith that chose to hold on even when holding on cost more than it felt like it was producing. And that testimony is going to be one of the most powerful things you ever carry into a room. Because the people who most need what your story contains are the people who are in the same kind of pain you are in right now. And when you tell them what God did, how long the pain lasted, what it cost, and what was on the other side of it, the faith that rises in them from hearing your story is going to change what they do in the dark. The story that is being written in this season is beautiful. Not because the pain is beautiful. Because what God does with it is beautiful. The fourth beautiful thing is a depth of relationship with God that changes everything. Beloved, the God that you are going to know on the other side of this pain is a God you did not fully know before it. Not because He changed. Because your capacity to know Him deepened in the fire. The relationship between you and God that is emerging from this season is going to be characterized by an intimacy and a trust and a specific knowing that comfortable seasons cannot produce. And that relationship is going to be the foundation of everything that comes next. The beautiful life on the other side of the pain is not beautiful primarily because of the circumstances it contains. It is beautiful primarily because of the depth of the relationship with God that is its foundation. The fifth beautiful thing is the people who are coming into your life. Beloved, on the other side of the pain, the right people are arriving. Not the people who were drawn to the comfortable version of you. The people who are drawn to the real version. The depth. The compassion. The genuine faith. The scars that are healed but still visible. The wisdom that only comes from having been in the fire. Those people are being positioned for the season that follows. The community that has been forming around the person you are becoming is going to be one of the most significant relational environments of your life. And the relationships that form in the season after the pain carry a quality of genuineness and depth that relationships formed in easier seasons rarely have. The people who are coming are beautiful. And they are coming for the specific person that the pain has been producing. The sixth beautiful thing is the expression of your purpose at a level you have not yet reached. Beloved, the calling on your life is about to enter an expression that it has been building toward through every chapter, including the painful ones. The gifts that have been deepening in the quiet of the difficult season. The wisdom that has been developing in the fire. The compassion that has been building in the pain. The faith that has been proven in the testing. All of it is about to find the context in which it can be most fully expressed. And the expression of your purpose at that level is going to be one of the most beautiful things you have ever experienced. Because doing what you were made to do at the level you were made to do it at is one of the purest forms of beauty available to a human life. And the seventh beautiful thing is simply this. You. On the other side of this. Beloved, the most beautiful thing that is coming is the version of you that emerges from this pain. Not a broken version that survived. A refined version that was produced. Stronger. Deeper. More compassionate. More rooted in what is real. More genuinely trusting of the God who walked through the fire with you. More capable of the love and the faith and the purpose that the next chapter requires. More fully yourself than you have ever been. Because pain has a way of stripping away everything that was not truly you. And what remains after the stripping is the most genuine and the most beautiful version of the person God made. That person is coming. She is being produced right now in what you are walking through. He is being refined right now in the fire of this season. And when they emerge, beloved, they are going to be one of the most beautiful things that the people around them have ever encountered. Because they carry something that only the pain could have produced. And what the pain produced is extraordinary. Beloved, I need to pause here. Someone is going to find this message tonight when the pain is loudest and the beauty feels furthest away. They need to hear what was just said. And this word is going to reach them because someone like you gave today. You are not just a viewer. You are a sender. Every seed planted through this ministry becomes the word that finds the person who needed it most. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or use the link in the description below. $5 or $10 or $25 or $50 or $100. Give what God is putting on your heart. And when you give, say out loud, I am sending this word to the next person who is in pain and who needs to know that something beautiful is coming. Because that is exactly what you are doing. Why God allows pain that produces beauty. Beloved Archangel Michael says that one of the most important questions the person in pain asks is why. Why is God allowing this? Why does a God who is good and who loves me allow something that hurts this much? And the answer is not simple. But there are 7 specific dimensions of the answer that Scripture and the testimony of God's people across history consistently offer. The first dimension is that God uses pain the way a sculptor uses a chisel. Beloved, a sculptor does not chisel a block of marble because they hate it. They chisel it because they see inside it something that is not yet visible to anyone else. And every strike of the chisel is in service of revealing what was always there. God sees inside you what is not yet fully visible. And the pain is the chisel. Not inflicted without purpose. Applied with the precision of someone who knows exactly what they are revealing and who loves what they are working with too much to leave it in its unrefined form. The second dimension is that beauty requires contrast. Beloved, the most beautiful sunsets follow the darkest skies. The most stunning rainbows appear after the heaviest rain. The most brilliant diamonds are formed under the most intense pressure. And the most beautiful life stories are the ones that include the chapters of pain that make the chapters of beauty recognizable as beautiful. Without the contrast, the beauty is pleasant. With the contrast, it is breathtaking. The pain in your story is not destroying the beauty of your story. It is creating the contrast that will make the beauty undeniable when it arrives. The third dimension is that some gifts can only be given through pain. Beloved, the specific things that God wants to give you in this season. The depth of intimacy with Him. The compassion that serves others. The faith that cannot be shaken. The wisdom that comes from the inside of the experience. The testimony that changes lives. None of these things can be given through comfortable circumstances. They are gifts that require the specific conditions of pain to be received at the depth at which God intends to give them. He is not choosing pain for you because He enjoys your suffering. He is giving you gifts that can only be received in this specific context. And the gifts are worth what receiving them costs. The fourth dimension is that God is protecting something in you through the pain. Beloved, sometimes the pain is not primarily what it feels like from inside it. It is the pruning that Jesus described. The vinedresser cuts away what would drain the vine of the resources that should go toward fruit bearing. And the cutting feels like loss. Like damage. Like the removal of something that was part of you. But what was removed was what was preventing the fullness of the fruit that you were always designed to bear. The pain that feels like loss is sometimes the removal of what was limiting what you are becoming. And what you are becoming is always more fruitful than what was removed to make room for it. The fifth dimension is that the pain is writing your author. Ity. Beloved, there is a specific authority that comes from having been through something and having come out the other side. The authority to speak into the lives of people who are in the same kind of pain. The authority to say, I know what this feels like from the inside. I know what it costs to keep going when going feels pointless. I know what it is to pray without visible answer and to choose faith without visible evidence. That authority cannot be borrowed. It cannot be inherited. It can only be earned. Through the specific experience of the specific pain. And the authority you are earning in this season is going to give your voice and your testimony a weight in certain rooms that no other credential could have provided. The sixth dimension is that God is building something through you that extends beyond you. Beloved, the pain in your life is not only personal. It is generational. What God is producing in you through the pain is something that is going to flow forward through you into the lives of people who have not yet been born. The children or the spiritual children who are going to receive the inheritance of a person who was refined in the fire and who carried the gold of that refining forward into their lives. The pain is not only for this generation. It is producing something that the next generation is going to need. And what they inherit from the person you are becoming through this pain is going to be one of the most significant gifts they receive. And the seventh dimension is the one that matters most. Because God is present in the pain with you. Beloved, the most profound answer to the question of why is not a strategic explanation of what the pain is producing. It is the declaration of who is present in it. God is with you in the pain. Not watching from a safe distance. In it. With you. In the fire the way he was with the 3 Hebrew boys. In the pit the way he was with Joseph. In the wilderness the way he was with David. In the darkest hour the way he was with Jesus at Golgotha. He is present. Not as a distant theological concept. As the actual companionship of a God who entered human pain himself so that no human being would ever have to be alone in it. And his presence in your pain is itself one of the most beautiful things that will ever be said about this season. He was there. You were not alone. And what you walked through with the God who holds all things. And who was holding you. 7 declarations for the one who is in pain and receiving this word. Beloved, I want to close this message by speaking 7 declarations over your life. Over the pain you are in. Over the beauty that is coming. Over the person you are becoming. And over the God who is present in every moment of what you are walking through. Receive each one as a word from heaven landing in the exact place it was designed to reach. Declaration 1. I declare that the pain I am in is not permanent. It is a season. A chapter. A specific and temporary dimension of a story that continues beyond it. And what continues beyond it is more beautiful than what I have been able to see from inside it. The pain is real. And it is not the end. And I declare that truth over every moment that tries to make me believe otherwise. Declaration 2. I declare that God is in the pain with me. Not watching. Present. In the fire. In the pit. In the wilderness. In the darkest hour. He is here. And his presence does not remove the pain. It transforms it into something that is producing what only his presence in the pain could produce. I am not alone. I have never been alone. And I will never be alone. Declaration 3. I declare that what the pain has been doing is significant. The going to the root. The stripping of what was never truly mine. The building of compassion. The developing of faith. The creation of hunger for what is real. The positioning for the next level of purpose. The deepening of the encounter with God. All of it is significant. All of it is producing something real. And I honor the work that the pain has been doing even as I declare that its season is coming to its end. Declaration 4. I declare that something beautiful is coming. Specifically. Really. On the other side of what I am walking through. The peace that I did not manufacture. The joy that is rooted in something unshakable. The story that changes lives. The depth of relationship with God. The people who are coming. The purpose that is expressing itself at a new level. And the version of me that emerges from this season. All of it is beautiful. And all of it is coming. Declaration 5. I declare that the version of me that is being produced by this pain is extraordinary. More compassionate. More rooted. More genuinely faithful. More deeply known by God and more deeply knowing Him. More fully myself. More capable of the love and the faith and the purpose that the next chapter requires. The person being produced in this season is one of the most significant versions of me that has ever existed. And I receive that person with gratitude for the process that produced them. Declaration 6. I declare that the testimony being written in this season is going to matter. To specific people. In specific moments. With specific weight. Because the testimony of someone who was in this kind of pain and who came through it with this kind of faith is exactly what some people need to hear to keep going in their own pain. I commit to telling the story. When the time is right. To the people who need to hear it. Because the pain that was walked through privately becomes the word that is spoken publicly. And the spoken word changes lives. Declaration 7. I declare that I am going to see the beauty. Not someday in a vague spiritual future. In the specific chapters that are coming. In the specific moments when what was produced by the pain becomes visible in the natural realm of my life. In the peace that settles. In the joy that rises. In the people who arrive. In the purpose that activates. In the testimony that lands. In the version of me that shows up in the next season carrying what this one produced. I am going to see the beauty. And when I see it I am going to know. It was worth it. God brought me through. And what He brought me through to is one of the most beautiful things I have ever been given. God bless you, beloved. Until next time. The closing word from Archangel Michael. Beloved, as we close today, I want to release the final word that heaven sent with this message. He says, beloved, I was sent to find the person in pain. The one whose pain has been present long enough that beauty feels like a category that no longer applies to their life. The one whose mornings have started with wait before the day gave any reason for the wait. The one who has been faithful through a season that has given very little visible reason for faithfulness. I was sent to find that person and to say this directly to them. He says, beloved, I see you. Not from a distance. Close. In the pain. With you. And what I see is not what the pain is telling you about yourself. What I see is a person being produced by the most significant formation process of their life. A person whose faith has roots that were not there before this season. A person whose compassion has a depth that comfortable seasons could not have developed. A person whose testimony is being written with an ink that does not fade. A person whose encounter with God in the depths of this season has produced a knowing that is going to be the foundation of everything that comes next. He says, beloved, something beautiful is coming. I know what is on the other side of what you are walking through. And beautiful is the right word for it. Not pleasant. Not nice. Beautiful. The kind of beautiful that makes you catch your breath. The kind of beautiful that you recognize immediately as worth everything the getting there cost. The kind of beautiful that only comes to a life that was willing to walk through what you have been willing to walk through. That beauty is coming. For you. After this. And it is closer than you know. Hold on, beloved. Not because the holding on is easy. Because the God who is holding on to you is worthy of the holding on. And what He is holding on to you for is beautiful. God bless you, beloved. Until next time. And please share this message with someone who is in pain right now and who needs to hear that something beautiful is coming after it. Your share might be the word that keeps them going long enough to see it. God bless you, beloved. And before you go, would you seal this word with a seed? $5 or 10 or 25 or 50 or 100. Whatever is in your hand right now. Scan the QR code on your screen or use the link in the description below. And as you give, say out loud, something beautiful is coming after this pain and I am going to see it. That declaration, beloved, is the declaration of someone who received the word and chose to believe it. And the choosing to believe is itself the beginning of the beautiful. God bless you, beloved. Until next time. 7 people in Scripture whose pain produced something beautiful. Beloved, I want to show you 7 people whose pain was so real and so deep that no one watching from the outside would have predicted that something beautiful was on the other side of it. But God knew. And what came after the pain was so extraordinary that the pain itself became part of the beauty of the story. The first is Joseph. Joseph was thrown into a pit by his brothers and sold into slavery. He was falsely accused and thrown into prison. He was forgotten by the cupbearer who promised to remember him. Years of pain. Year after year of circumstances that argued against every promise God had made. And then in one day he went from the prison to the palace. And when his brothers stood before him afraid of what he would do to them, Joseph said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." The pain produced the palace. The suffering produced the salvation of nations. What his brothers meant as destruction, God used as destiny. And the beauty that came after the pain was so extraordinary that it required the pain to make it possible. The second is Ruth. Ruth lost her husband in a foreign land. She was a widow without resources, following a mother-in-law who had nothing to offer. The pain of loss and displacement and uncertainty. And she chose faithfulness anyway. Where you go, I will go. Where you die, I will die. And in the field of a man named Boaz she began to glean. And Boaz noticed her. And what followed the pain of the loss was a love story that has been told for thousands of years. And from Ruth and Boaz came Obed. And from Obed came Jesse. And from Jesse came David. And from David's line came the Messiah. The pain of a widow in a foreign land became the lineage through which the hope of the world was born. The beauty that came after the pain was the most beautiful thing in history. The third is Hannah. Hannah wept before God year after year. The specific pain of unfulfilled longing. The specific grief of wanting something so deeply that the absence of it becomes the defining feature of your life. And she prayed with a desperation so complete that no words were adequate. Her lips moved but no sound came out. And God heard what words could not say. And Samuel was born. And Hannah's pain produced the prophet who anointed the king, whose line produced the Savior. The pain of one woman's empty womb produced the voice that shaped the history of Israel. The beauty that came after the pain was a beauty that reached forward for generations. The fourth is Job. Job lost everything. His children. His wealth. His health. His dignity as he sat in ashes scraping his sores. The pain was total. And his friends told him the pain was punishment. That he must have done something to deserve it. And Job insisted that his pain was not punishment. That it was mystery. And God showed up in the whirlwind. And Job encountered God in a way he had never encountered him before. And God said to Job's friends, "You have not spoken the truth about me as my servant Job has." And the Lord restored Job's fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. And Job said, "I had heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you." The pain produced the seeing. And what Job saw on the other side of his pain was God. More fully and more personally than he had ever seen before. That is the most beautiful thing that can be said about any life. The fifth is Paul. Paul's list of pain in 2 Corinthians 11 is extraordinary. 5 times he received 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times he was beaten with rods. Once he was stoned. 3 times he was shipwrecked. A night and a day in the open sea. In danger from rivers. In danger from bandits. In danger from his own people. In danger from Gentiles. Sleepless nights. Hunger and thirst. Cold and naked. And through all of it he wrote the most profound theological documents in the New Testament. He wrote about joy from prison. About peace from chains. About the love of God from the inside of suffering. The pain produced the letters. And the letters have been changing lives for 2,000 years. The beauty that came from Paul's pain has reached more people than any human being who lived without pain could have reached. The sixth is Jesus himself. The cross was the most extreme pain in human history. Not just physical. The separation from the Father. The carrying of every sin of every person who would ever live. The darkness that fell over the land. The cry of desolation. My God, why have you forsaken me?" And then it was finished. And on the third day the tomb was empty. And the resurrection was the most beautiful thing that has ever happened in human history. The most extreme pain produced the most extraordinary beauty. The cross that was meant to end the story became the center of the story. The death that was meant to be the final word became the doorway to life for every human being who would ever live. If God could bring something that beautiful out of something that painful, he can bring something beautiful out of what you are walking through. Because the God who raised Jesus from the dead is the same God who is working in your pain right now. And the seventh is you. Beloved, I want to name you in this list. Because the pain you are in belongs in the same company as every pain I just described. Not because the stories are identical. Because the God who worked in every one of those pains is the same God who is working in yours. The same God who turned Joseph's pit into a palace. Who turned Ruth's widowhood into the lineage of the Messiah. Who turned Hannah's empty womb into the voice of a generation. Who turned Job's ashes into the seeing of God. Who turned Paul's prison into the letters that changed the world. Who turned the cross into the resurrection. That God is in your pain. Right now. Doing what he has always done. Taking what was meant for harm and working it for good. Taking what the enemy designed as destruction and using it as destiny. Taking the most painful chapter of your story and writing into it the seeds of the most beautiful chapters that are still to come. Something beautiful is coming. After this pain. For you. Because the God who always brings beauty from pain is the God who is in yours. God bless you, beloved. Until next time.